Hey guys, Michael from Copper vs Glass, and with the iPhone 16 now announced and pre-orders going live at the time of filming this video, I thought it'd be great to take one last look at the iPhone 15 Pro. Now this video is going to be a little bit unscripted. I do have some stats off to the side here with regards to the specs of the phone itself, but we're going to be taking one last look at the up until now flagship device from Apple. So I've been using the 15 Pro since the release in September 2023. It's been my only daily driver during that time and has been in basically every video here on the channel, and also in my pocket every day. Sometimes in the case or sometimes not, showing off the natural titanium colorway that I went for. And that's a great place to start with the build. Now Apple went with the grade 5 titanium rails for the finish here on the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. Now for me, I think the titanium was a great way to go. It's still strong, looks good, but it also cuts a ton of weight compared to the previous stainless steel models. Now yes, it picks up dirt, grime and fingerprints, but I think that just adds to the overall look of the device. It was available in 4 different colors, and like I mentioned, I went for the natural one, which I think shows up the least amount of imperfections. However, if you went for the darker option, that showed up a ton of fingerprints. And you've then also got the front and back glass. Now the back glass looks absolutely pristine and brand new. Now don't get me wrong, sometimes I had it with a case, but those times that I didn't have a case on the device and I had my phone in my pocket, maybe with keys or something else, there are no scratches, no imperfections whatsoever. Even on the camera housing and also the camera lenses, they look perfect to this day, and although there's a ton of protrusions on the back here, even putting the phone backside down, there's no issues whatsoever. You've then got the ceramic shield around the front side of things here, and for some reason that's the only imperfection that I've got on the device. It's kind of hard to see, but there's tiny micro scratches on the front glass. However, if you have a screen protector on there, it kind of gets rid of them and they're pretty much invisible. But overall, the build quality, front, back, side rails, everything with the iPhone 15 Pro has held up extremely well over time, case or no case. Now, I don't do this kind of thing here on the channel, so I'm going to put some videos in the description down below with regards to some durability and stress tests of the iPhone 15 Pro, just so you guys can see how it holds up over time. However, like pretty much every device these days, if you are going to be dropping it onto a hard concrete or just into a hard floor, you're going to get some cracks around the edge, some dents around the metal rails, and the glass is going to crack. But then again, you get that with every device. And speaking of the screen, we then have the display. And the iPhone 15 Pro to this day is probably one of, if not the best displays that I've ever had on a mobile device. It's super color accurate and it is one of the brightest screens that I've seen. Now for a lot of people, their mobile device is the highest quality screen that they own, and the 15 Pro is no exception. So here we have Apple's Super Retina XDR OLED display. Now the contrast is amazing, the colors look great, you've got those deep blacks on the OLED side of things. Like I mentioned, it's an amazing looking display. It comes in at 6.1 inches, 1177 by 2556 pixels, with a pixel density of 461 pixels per inch. This is a seriously good looking display here. Now, don't get me wrong, you can get some larger displays and also some higher resolution displays from some other manufacturers, but for me, the way that Apple does it with the 120Hz refresh rate, it just looks great. It is a pleasure to use this display on a daily basis. Videos look amazing whether you're watching something on Disney+, Netflix, YouTube, games look great as well, and obviously all of your photos and videos that you take with the device look amazing as well. Now you do have the dynamic island, and for me it's more of a notification island. I don't really interact with it whatsoever. Main reason being is it's kind of out of the way. At the top of the display there, it just feels very unnatural to kind of just reach all the way up to the top of the display, and I haven't really used it for anything. If I'm listening to Spotify and I want to play, pause, or go forward or backwards on the tracks, for example, yes, you've got the option of doing it in the dynamic island, or I can just open the Spotify app. Now, don't get me wrong, it's good for looking at information. So if you've got a timer on, for example, or you're waiting on a delivery or an Uber, then yes, you can see what it's going to be looking like at a glance. But for me, I don't really use it whatsoever. It's mainly there for the front-facing camera and the Face ID. And when it comes to Face ID, that still works completely fine. Now, a lot of people were saying that they wanted Touch ID back on the next generation of the iPhone with the 16 line of devices, but for me, I think Face ID does a great job. Whether you've got it on a table, desk, in your car, or you've just got it propped up on a MagSafe charger, as long as it can see your face, it's unlocked and you're ready to go. Even if you do have it down on a table a slightly more off axis, Face ID still does a great job. For me, anytime that I'm looking at my device, yes, it sometimes misses every now and then, but that's only the most extreme cases. A lot of the time, if I'm looking at the device where I want to use it, it's unlocked and ready to go. So build quality is great, and in general the screen looks amazing, but how's the overall performance after 12 months? Well, it's an iPhone, so you can kind of expect that it's still going to be great, and even great moving forward. Inside we have Apple's A17 Pro chip, 128GB of storage, and 8GB of RAM, which, fun fact, is the same amount of RAM on the new iPhone 16 Pro. Let's just ignore the fact that some other devices like the Pixel 9 Pro have 16GB of RAM. And I know that a lot of people were hoping for the new iPhone to have a higher base storage at 256GB, but for my personal use, and this may be different depending on who you ask, I don't mind the lower storage whatsoever. Pretty much everything that I need to keep is kept in the cloud. Whether it's photos in Google Photos, important documents, it's pretty much all stored in the cloud. I really only use the storage on the phone for games and applications and some on-storage data. So for me, yes, it's not great being 128 compared to some of the higher capacities, but I haven't even filled up this phone and I've been using it for a full year. But then again, you do have some people that swear by the fact they need a high storage amount on the device. Whether it's shooting 4K video or ProRes video on the iPhone 15 Pro, yes, the extra storage is handy, but then again, we've got USB-C, which we'll get onto in just a moment, so you can just attach a hard drive for anything specific that you need. Now, I'm actually running the latest version of the public beta of iOS 18, so the software side of things I'm not going to go into too much, plus it's an iPhone, you kind of know what you're going to be expecting here. However, the general day-to-day performance, moving around the OS, going in and out of applications, works completely fine. Videos, photos, all is super quick and snappy, and of course playing the latest mobile games is no issue whatsoever for the iPhone. Now, mobile gaming can be its own whole video here on the channel with regards to the AAA side of things, because it's not necessarily going as well as I think Apple wanted it to, but the top end range of games here, so Genshin Impact, Call of Duty Mobile, or any of those AAA games like Resident Evil, work completely fine here on the 15 Pro, and yes, they may look a little bit better on the 16 Pro moving forward, but I think overall, if you're looking for a mobile device for the gaming side of things, you can still get away with the iPhone 15 Pro even moving forward a couple of years. And of course, when the phone originally came out, there were some overheating issues, and over time due to software updates, especially on the iOS 18 beta here, I've had no issues whatsoever with regards to the heat side of things. If I'm playing a mobile intense game with some super high graphics settings, yes, it gets a little bit warm, but no more than some other devices. I don't necessarily think the overheating side of things is anything to worry about, but then again, we'll see what it looks like with the 16 Pro and if that has the same issue. So after 12 months, what is the battery life like on my 15 Pro, considering that I've been using it every single day for the last 365 days? Well, with just over 200 full battery cycles, I've got 98% of my battery capacity left. So what that means is when I charge my phone to 100%, it's charging it to 100% of 98%. I hope you're keeping up. But overall, the battery life on the 15 Pro has been great. Whether I take it off the charge super early in the morning and then don't get until late, the screen on time, the overall battery life side of things is amazing. Now, the battery side of things is going to come in at 3,274 mAh. Of course, you've got MagSafe wireless charging with Qi 2, and you've got the USB-C side of things at the bottom for the wired charging. And then, of course, we get onto the USB-C side of things. Now, USB-C for me isn't actually as big a deal as I thought it was going to be. Don't get me wrong, you can use it to plug in some accessories like external hard drives to shoot some of that ProRAW video that I mentioned beforehand, but in general it doesn't really take away or add anything too much to the iPhone experience. The only thing that it did do is sometimes make it a little bit awkward when it came to asking for a charger. So if you're in work and you say to someone if you've got an iPhone charger, straight away you get 5 people coming up to you with lightning cables. You then have to have that kind of awkward conversation of, well, I've actually got the newest iPhone and it's USB-C, and yeah, it can kind of cause some looks from time to time, maybe thinking that you're above other people compared to the phone they've got. So it's not so much asking just for an Apple charger anymore, it's have you got a USB-C charger? Slightly changing up the conversation, but not really anything meaningful. And speaking of external hard drives and ProRAW video, next up then we have the camera side of things. And it's an iPhone. It produces extremely good pictures, amazing video, but it's nothing groundbreaking, especially compared to the competition. For me, the photos that come out of the iPhone are still extremely good, maybe a little bit high in the contrast and the sharpness side of things, maybe sometimes looking a little bit too artificial, but if you're looking for a great camera to take photos of family, on holiday, or something more specific and get into the sort of more pro side of things, then the 15 Pro is a great option. Now, don't get me wrong, does the Pixel maybe take some better photos these days compared to the iPhone? Well, that can be its whole video moving forward, and let me know in the comments section down below if you want to be able to see a shootout with the iPhone 16 Pro and the Pixel 9 Pro. But for me, the main focus with the camera side of things is definitely going to be the 4K 60 video that comes from the iPhone. For me, it's some of, if not the best mobile videography that I've ever seen. And going back to the photo side of things, yes, you've got the standard wide lens, ultra wide and telephoto, which is slightly tweaked and changed on the 16 Pro moving forward, but on the 15 Pro it does a great job. The ultra wide photos look amazing, if not a little bit soft, coming in at 12 megapixels compared to the main 48 megapixels, and also the telephoto 3 times or 5 times depending on if you've got the standard or the max version, and like I say, everything moving forward from the sounds of it is going to be 5 times. So the telephoto side of things is still great, and because of the 48 megapixel crop that you get now, if you do want to pinch to zoom and get maybe a 2 times or a little bit over 2 times, you've got the option to do so and it's still going to keep the quality. I just wish that Apple would bring it back ever so slightly with regards to the processing side of things. And I think moving forward, even if you pick up an iPhone 15 Pro now or even a 14 Pro from last year, it's still going to perform extremely well for photos and videos moving forward for the next couple of years, even further than that. Now for someone that's not really super into photography, maybe like a parent or someone slightly older or someone that just doesn't really care too much about the best quality, I think even iPhones from 3 or 4 years ago are still going to do an amazing job. So the 15 Pro, again, moving forward, if we're looking at it in say 2026, 2027, I still think you're going to be able to get amazing photos from this device along with the video side of things. But don't get me wrong, I'm super excited about 4K 120 frames on the 16 Pro. And of course the higher megapixel count on the ultra wide and the 5 times instead of 3 times telephoto lens. Actually, I'm just pretty excited about the camera side of things altogether on the 16. Now some other bits that are specific to the 15, the action button. I haven't used the action button once. I keep my phone on silent, I don't change it away from silent, and I don't ever use the action button for anything whatsoever, whether it's putting the phone on loud, silent, or any of the other options that you can do in the settings. I just don't use the button at all. Again, it's in a slightly inconvenient place right at the top of the device here, and that's why I'm kind of excited about the camera control button on the 16 Pro, because it seems like it's in a more sort of reasonable, more reachable kind of space. And of course, everything phone related still works extremely well. The phone call side of things, the earpiece, the microphone, and also the speakers on the 15 Pro are still some of the best sounding out there. And that's going to do it, guys, for my final look and revisit on the iPhone 15 Pro. Now, of course, let me know in the comments section down below what device you guys are currently using, how long you've been using it for, and if you're looking to upgrade to anything soon. Whether it's the new 16 line of devices from Apple, the Google Pixel 9, or something from Samsung in the new year with their new Galaxy line, let me know in the comments section down below. Also, while you're down there, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, now's a great time to do so. And of course, once you've hit that subscribe button, don't forget to turn on notifications so you're notified anytime I post a video here on the channel. I'm Michael from Copper vs Glass. I'm going to get my 15 Pro ready for sale, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.